watched from January to March. If you haven't seen that video, basically I thought this year, 2021, I would record every film I watch, and that's what I've done so far. So yeah, I did one video about January to March, and now this video, is from April to June. I have done what I said. I've recorded every single film I've watched. I'm only recording films I watch from start to finish, fully, and I'm not including any films, like when you have a film on in the background while you do some work or something that you don't really pay attention to. I'm not including any film I watch like that. So every film I've watched start to finish, I'm paid attention to, I've recorded here. So I'm going to scroll straight up to the start of April. My last video, actually, I made just before the end of March. In my last video, I watched The Perks of Being a Wallflower on the 29th of March. I watched 2 more films after that, so very quickly I watched The Lost World Jurassic Park, which I really like as a sequel. It's not as good as the first Jurassic Park, but it's a solid sequel, and I really like Julianne Moore. And then I rewatched American Mary. So I'm going to scroll straight up, and we'll start here in April. Also, I am using the built-in screen record app on my phone to record this, so if it's not fantastic quality, then I apologise, and if anyone knows any better screen record apps, preferably free, but any, then just let me know. Okay, so on the 1st of April I watched Twister. This came on Netflix, and I was super pleased because Twister is one of my all-time favourite films. I just love it. I love the story, I love the action, I love the actors and the actresses in it, and it's probably one of the films I can quote the most. I just love it. Cannot understate it. So yeah. As you can see, I should point out, by the way, this is Letterboxd, and as you can see, I record the date I finished watching the film, and then I gave each film a star rating. That rating is based on how good of a film I think it is, not how much I liked it. And the heart means I liked the film, and some films have like a circular arrow icon. That means that I've watched the film before. If that icon is not there, it means I've never seen the film before. So there we go. On the 2nd of April, I watched 4 brand new films that I'd never seen before. The first one is Death Becomes Her. Also, all of these films I just randomly picked on Netflix. I think it was a Saturday. I just spent the day watching films. So Death Becomes Her, I only knew that it had Meryl Streep in. I didn't really know much about the story, but I watched it, and it is a good film. It's very cheesy, it's very corny in places, but I totally get why it's a cult film. It's entertaining. Next film is a film called Beneath. I think it was about a group of college kids who try and cross a lake in a small boat, and then there's like a weird man-eating fish in the water. It wasn't a good film. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but I think it peaked too early, and I also did not like the ending, so I gave it 1.5 stars, which is not the worst rating that you're going to see in this video. The next one is Run with Sarah Paulson, which I thought was a solid film. Not the best, but not the worst film I've seen. It was a solid thriller film. And then The Hitcher with Sean Bean. I have actually seen this before, like years and years and years and years ago. I'd forgotten I'd seen it until a particular scene near the end, when I was like, oh, this looks familiar. But nevertheless, I counted it as having not seen it before because I hardly remembered it. Then on the 4th of April, I watched Inside Out, which is amazing, one of my favourite Pixar films. Riley's First Date, which is a short film. And then I rewatched Moxie. Scroll up a bit. Okay, on the 5th of April, I watched It's just one of those films you want to watch on a nice Sunday when it's raining outside and you just want to cozy up with a cup of tea and watch a good film. Then I watched a film called 66. I picked this because Helena Bonham Carter was in it. That's the only reason I picked it. But it was actually a very sweet film. It's a British drama film about a boy whose bar mitzvah is scheduled for the same day as the England World Cup final of 66. If you don't know, that's the World Cup we won. And it's like him trying to plan his perfect bar mitzvah while knowing that this huge thing is going to happen on the same day. So it was a very sweet film. So if you're looking for a good film to watch, I recommend this one. Then I watched Pan's Labyrinth, which I love. Bridget Jones's Diary, which again I love. It's a classic. And then we have a new film called The Boy. This looked pretty intriguing and it had Rainn Wilson in. I was a bit disappointed, a bit underwhelmed, so I gave it 2 stars out of 5. Then we have The Shallows with Blake Lively. I love a good shark film, and this is a solid shark film. I liked it. And then this film, gosh, Thunder Force. I gave it 1 star, and I think that was being maybe a bit generous. I had high hopes for this. I don't mind Melissa McCarthy. I've seen her in a few other films, like Spy and Bridesmaids, and I think she's okay. So I saw the trailer for this and I thought it looked pretty good, her and Octavia Spencer. Actually, I watched the film and I hated it. I really did not like it. The first bit, like the first 20-ish minutes, were okay. And then it just got a bit boring, and also the jokes were not good at all. It was, I've noticed this in other American films and sitcoms, like The Big Bang Theory. What comes to mind is when a joke is made and then they drag the joke out for extra cheap laughs. I found that happening a little bit in Thunder Force, and maybe it's just my sense of humour, but that really, really, really grates me. It angers me when films and TV shows do that for cheap laughs, and so I hated that. And I just hated the film, so sorry, Thunder Force. Actually, I'm not sorry, actually. Okay, on the flip side, the film after that was a very good film, As Good As It Gets. It's just a really good film with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt, and I can't remember the name of the guy. It's just a good film. Then I watched A Bug's Life, which is the most underrated Pixar film in my opinion. Then we have The Mummy. I said Twister is one of my all-time favourite films. Well, The Mummy is probably my second... No, it's my joint first all-time favourite film. I freaking love The Mummy. It's just perfect. I love Rachel Weisz, I love Brendan Fraser, I love John Hannah. I just love this film. Then I watched Juno. And then a new film, Little Miss Sunshine. I knew of the film, but I'd never seen it, and it was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I watch The Office a lot. It's kind of I watch it in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, and it was really strange seeing Steve Carell in a more serious role. I've only ever seen him in more funny roles. Back to the Future. I don't really need to say more than that. 5 stars. Tangled. I'd actually never seen Tangled before, so I watched it. I knew the songs, but I hadn't seen the film, and I loved it. Very good. Then we have Stowaway, that Anna Kendrick, Toni Collette film, which I liked. It was a bit slow paced at times, especially kind of the first hour or so. The last half, the final half hour, 40 minutes were the best part of the film in my opinion. Although I don't know if anyone else agrees with this, I thought the film ended quite abruptly. Like this big thing, no spoilers, but this big thing happens for the last half hour of the film. And then it was boom, credits. Or at least it felt like that. I don't know. And then the final film of April I watched watched was Seaspiracy, that documentary on Netflix, which I enjoyed a lot. As you can probably see, I didn't watch many films in April. In fact, you're probably going to notice this throughout the rest of the video. I was very busy with work, and I just didn't have time to watch as many films as I would have liked to. So that explains the gaps in my film watching. Okay, moving swiftly into May. 1st of May, I watched 2 musicals. I watched Rocketman and Bohemian Rhapsody. Love both of these. I love Elton John, I love Queen. I've seen both of them in the cinema. I gave them both 3.5 stars. I think if I had to choose, I think Rocketman is the better film by literally a hair. However, I personally prefer Bohemian Rhapsody purely because I like Queen a little bit more than I like Elton John. Both very good films though. 4th of May, or May the 4th I should say, May the 4th, what else am I going to watch but Star Wars? Then a new film on Netflix, Things Seen and Heard. This was the film, I think it had Amanda Seyfried in. It was a strange film. I wasn't a fan of some of the things that happened, but also, slight spoiler, there's a ghost in the film. I didn't like how the ghost was portrayed. So yeah, that's that film. Les Miserables. This is so funny. I wanted to watch Les Mis. I knew it was a long film, but I forgot how intense it is because it's like 99% songs, it's sung through, and it's quite a long film. This actually took me about 2 days to fully watch. I kept watching parts and then leaving and then coming back to it. But I did watch it. Okay, don't judge me. I also watched Hannah Montana the movie, purely nostalgia. And I'm not gonna lie, I like the songs in Hannah Montana the movie. I mean, there's a few pops in there. And then I was on Disney Plus and I noticed Glass was on there. Now, I know M. Night Shyamalan has a trilogy. I think it's Unbreakable, then Split, then Glass. I've never seen Unbreakable. I saw Glass in the cinema when it came out with my friend. I'd never heard of the other 2 movies. My friend wanted to see Glass, and so I went with her. And I really liked James McAvoy's character, and so when I came home and I realised he had an entire movie to himself, I was really pleased. And I really liked Split. So when I saw this on Disney Plus, I thought I'd watch Split and then I'd watch Glass on Disney Plus. So yeah, both very good, but I think Split is a great film. James McAvoy absolutely kills it. Glass is not the best film, but I still enjoyed it. Then we have Enola Holmes on the 15th of May. It's a really, really good film. I really like Enola Holmes, and I'm really glad they're making a second film. Then The Full Monty, which I love. It's set quite locally to me. It's set in Sheffield, and I live literally minutes from Sheffield, so I love that film. Next is Pollyanna. This is the ITV TV film version with Amanda Burton and Tom Ellis, rather than I think there's a Disney version. I've never seen that one. This is the one I've been watching since I was a kid, and I love this version. It's a very good film. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before in any video, but I really don't like superhero films, like Marvel and DC films, with the sole exception of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. So I've got an itchy throat. Sorry, I thought I was going to cough them. Yes, I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy films. I saw them both in the cinema, and I rewatched them here. I definitely prefer the second one to the first one, and both the soundtracks are just amazing. A couple of my favourite songs I found through these films. So yeah, definitely recommend, if you're not into superhero films, I recommend the Guardians of the Galaxy films. I don't know what makes me like them more than other superhero films. I think it's that they don't take themselves too seriously. But yeah, love it. Then we have The Woman in the Window with Amy Adams. Solid film, not the best film I've seen, but not the worst. 2.5 stars. Then we have Precious, which is a very emotional film. It's basically about a girl who's been abused in every way by her family, and she's trying to get an education and get a better life. It's a very good film. Then we have Toy Story 4. Now, unpopular opinion. My favourite Toy Story films are number 1, number 2, then number 4, then number 3. I still love number 3, but I like 4 better than 3. Is that an unpopular opinion? I feel it is. I just like the story better, and also I like Bo Peep's character in Toy Story 4. Then we have The Blair Witch Project, which I love. I know it's a very Marmite film, I feel, The Blair Witch Project. But guys, if you're going to watch the Blair Witch film, you must, have the right, have the right mood, have the right setting. When I first watched the Blair Witch Project, I watched it on my own, in the dark, with headphones. If you're watching it, when it's light out, or, with a bunch of friends, you're not going to get into it, so that is my recommendation. Then I watched Shrek, which was so fun. Have you ever watched a film for the first time in years and you just laugh at all the jokes again? That was my deal with Shrek. I just love it when that happens. And then, as you can probably tell, I decided to rewatch all the Harry Potter films. Now, I have all the Harry Potter audiobooks, and I listen to them quite frequently. I listen to them when I'm driving to and from work and when I'm just driving in general. So I know the books really, really well. I haven't seen the films for at least a few years, so this was kind of the first time I'd probably watched all the films. And yeah, it was very interesting kind of watching them, and I know, I don't mean to sound like elitist, but I can't help but compare them to the books, and obviously as a film it's not going to be exactly the same, but there's just a load of stuff in the books that is left out. And one thing I don't like about the films is that they water down a lot of the characters, especially like Ginny, for example. I love book Ginny. Movie Ginny is like a wet mop. She has no personality. It actually angers me how much they ruin Ginny in the movies. So yes, here are my ratings. So the first film I gave 5 stars because it's brilliant. Chamber of Secrets I gave 4 stars. Not my favourite Harry Potter film, but not my least favourite. My favourite is Prisoner of Azkaban, which I watched on the 1st of June. I love Prisoner of Azkaban, and I love the soundtrack too. The other Harry Potters are coming up. 2nd of June, I watched Believe Me, The Abduction of Lisa McVeigh, which is a document. No, I'm telling a lie. No, it's not. It's based on a true story, but it's an actual film, and it's a very, very good film. I enjoyed it a lot. I knew it was a true story, and I was reading about it after the film, and it's very, very good. The girl who plays the main character, I can't remember the actress's name, she was very good. Then I watched a TV film called Oslo. I 100% picked this to watch because Ruth Wilson was in it, and I love her. It was a very good film. It's about the Palestine-Israel talks, and I thought it was very interesting. Now, sometime a little bit after Oslo, maybe the day after, I watched this mini-series called Mayor of Easttown. I think it's HBO in the USA, and I think it was on Sky here in the UK. I completely 100% recommend it. It's basically a murder mystery miniseries, and Kate Winslet plays the detective in charge of finding out who's done the murder. It's brilliant. I absolutely loved it, and I forgot how bloody bloody good Kate Winslet is at her job. So once I finished it, I was kind of in the mood for more Kate Winslet. So I watched Ammonite, which was very good. It had Saoirse Wilson in. In fact, in the summer, in August, I'm going on a little holiday to the place where this was filmed, or where it was set. I'm going to Lyme Regis. I don't know if it was filmed there, but it was definitely set there. So that was a very good film. I completely recommend it. Then I watched Shrek 2, which I love. I think it's just as good as the first film. And I love The Fairy Godmother as well. Another Kate Winslet film, I watched The Reader. I know this is the film she won her Oscar for, so I didn't really know what to expect. But it was very, very good, and she was amazing. Then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which again is a Kate Winslet film. She was brilliant, and the film itself was weird, but it was very, very good. It felt like a bit like a Black Mirror episode, but it was very, very good. Then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, purely nostalgia. Then a film called Baby Driver, which I'd never seen before, totally picked randomly, and I really enjoyed it. Then we have the rest of the Harry Potter films. So I've got Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which I gave 4 stars to. My favourite Harry Potter book and film is Prisoner of Azkaban. My second favourite book is Goblet of Fire. Now the film, I'm not a huge fan of the film version. Again, it just kind of misses a lot out and waters a lot down, but it's still a solid film. I liked it. Order of the Phoenix, however, is probably my second least favourite film. Or my least favourite. It's definitely bottom 2. I'm not a fan. I don't know why. I'm just not a fan of the Order of the Phoenix film. With the sole exception of Imelda Staunton, she absolutely kills it as Dolores Umbridge. I could not think of anyone better. Half-Blood Prince is also like my bottom 2 second least favourite film. I'm not a huge fan of Half-Blood Prince. Then I watched Shaun of the Dead on the 26th of June. Fun fact, I watched Shaun of the Dead quite late. I think it was about 12:30 at night. And a car crash happened outside my house, which was a real joy. There were 10 of us from different houses because it was so loud. It was so loud that it made me jump. We don't know for sure, but we think it was a bunch of drunk guys because as soon as they crashed the car, they all ran off. Like, that's suspicious. But yeah, fun fact. And then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, which is really good. It drags out a little bit in places, but it's a very good film. And then, oh my gosh, The Hallows Part 2. I have not seen this film in years, and then I watched it and I knew what was coming, obviously, but I think I was just like crying for the entire last hour. Basically, I was just crying. So that was very, very good. And then the last film I watched in June is The Dead Don't Die, which is a zombie film I found on Netflix. It's got Adam Driver and Bill Murray in. It was a weird film. It's a zombie film, but it's quite slow paced for a zombie film, but it was good. Good, not great. I gave it 2.5 stars. And that is every film I watched between April and June. So please, if you want to either recommend a film to me or if you agree or disagree with anything I've said, please write a comment. I always read the comments. I'm not great at replying to comments, but I promise you I read them all. So please let me know. If you... I have forgotten what I was going to say. Completely forgotten what I was going to say. I will leave it there then. So thank you and good night. I will make an update to this, so the next one will be July, August, September, end of September. I will see you again for the next part.